Picture this. A young guy, a college student, with a microphone, asking questions of fellow students. He wants to get a sense of their opinions on politics, on personal issues. So he asks another guy, should women be virgins up until they get married? And this guy says, you wouldn't drink from a soda can that's already been opened, would you? That's what he said. And actually, girls didn't disagree. They said, yeah, that's right. That's how things are. Absolutely. That story, that was Lebanon last year. Now let's switch to another one. A young girl raped by her brother, pregnant, and she's forced to carry the child to term. She has to have the baby because abortion is illegal, even in cases of incest or rape. Well, he serves a minimal punishment. She's punished for life. Anybody know where that is? That's Alabama. That's Alabama now and many other states in the US that have followed suit because that's the law and that's how things are over there right now. Now, one last story. A young woman, her first time in the field, is traveling with a colleague, male colleague, and he puts his hand on the inside of her thigh and he says, we should share a hotel room because it's better for the project budget. Well, she complains, and the big boss says, oh, don't take it serious. It was just a joke. You know, this is how things are. No, that woman was me, and that was about 25 years ago. And since then, maybe before then, I've been fighting against how things are, working on sexual violence and humanitarian emergencies, and now with the Arab Institute for Women. 46 years old, this institute, making it the first in the region. And so for 46 years, we've been fighting against how things are. In the Arab region, we've got 22 states. 19 of those prohibit abortion. And then violence against women, male violence against women, still exists. Intimate partner violence is the most common. There are laws, but they're ignored or unapplied. And very often, they omit something that's pretty critical, and that's marital rape. So what does that tell you? That when you get married, you lose rights to your own body. And you can't even decide if, when, how, who to get married to. Forget that. And that's why something like child marriage still exists. When we say child marriage, what we mean is girl child marriage, right? And what we mean by that, by and large, is marriage to an older guy. And what happens then, for the most part, is a sexual relationship between this young girl and this older guy, which, as far as I understand, is called rape. That's rape of a girl child. So we need to start using these words as they are, so we say what we mean, so we change what we see. Because otherwise, we're not going to succeed at all. And then when I ask people in the region, young people, do you think there's equality? Most of the time they don't know. Are you a feminist? Most of the time they say no. I don't understand, actually, how you cannot be feminist when we're talking about rights and representation and resources and power and control and all the things that we don't have that actually we should have because, well, as we keep saying, it's 2019, and where are those things? We lead on a movement called She Decides, which is about sexual and reproductive health and rights. We are leading that in the region and trying to get to a world where she decides. So when I say in the region, hey, she decides, people say, you're crazy. When I say, all right, he decides, and they say, yeah, that's right, this is how things are. Again, I'm not here to accept or put up with those kinds of things. I think that's incumbent upon all of us to change how things are and to no longer tolerate them. In the Arab region, well, there are 10 countries last year that were listed as the worst places to be a woman. 5 of those are Arab. I mean, that should tell us that we're not doing all that well. We need 150 some years, maybe more, to achieve equality, and frankly, I'm not willing to wait that long because I don't think I'll live that long. If anybody else will, that's wonderful. Dig me from the grave, let me know. But until then, I'd like to see equality in my lifetime, so I'd like us to move a little bit faster. Because actually, for me, I look at all these movements, Me Too and all of that stuff that is so loud everywhere and so quiet in the region, and we whisper and silence and we're shamed. We should be screaming. Because what I really want to say is this, that this cause is the rage of my life. And I know that our rage is right, and I know that this is rage that's going to give us courage, and I hope that that courage is contagious. So I would invite you all, really, Afghanistan, Arab, Alabama, wherever. I think rage is long overdue, and I hope you'll join me. Thank you.
Thank you, Lina. I really appreciated your talk about, sexual and reproductive rights, as well as what we can do to reduce sexual violence, especially with girl brides. And one of the questions that I'd like to ask you is, and I've asked this to a couple of our speakers, is, you're using your power a lot in how you're in doing all of your work, but how can the audience help you to achieve and use their power to achieve your goals?
I think we all have that power. I think it's about working in the space that you have around you with whatever you've got at your disposal. You don't have to do it on the humanitarian front lines. You don't have to do it as a head of an institute. You can do it with your family. You can do it with your workspace. You can do it in school. I mean, I feel like we internalize so many things. We let go. We let go of many opportunities to make change or to call out injustice or to say something or to do something, and that's not easy. But I mean, unless we all do something, you can't leave it up to the people who are in the supposed positions of power, because that's not really what it's about. I think all of us have to change if we want to see that kind of change that I think is long overdue. I mean, I'm not impressed by where we are right now. I think we need to move forward and much faster.
So, to that point, I'd like to close on a hopeful note. What do you want to see next year or at the next Women Deliver conference? Outcomes that we really have achieved. Not just these people speaking up, the people joining us speaking up, but different policies, different actions that different sectors can do. What's your hope for the future?
Well, I think what we're seeing is so much resistance, and so we keep talking about fighting back, which only brings us to where we were before, and we're seeing this backlash, and so we're kind of pushing to get back to what we had, which I don't think was good enough. So what is in the past wasn't good enough, what we have in the present isn't good enough. So maybe we need to think about fighting forward and fighting for maybe a few goals that we can all agree on, that we rally around and we are loud about. Because I think without that, we're just going to keep reacting instead of being proactive, which is what I'd like to see. I'd like to see us more organized. I'd like to see us more concerted in our views and not fragmented, because we might lose that energy and that anger, and I don't want that to happen.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And I hope everybody, as well as you are, as we are using our power to make progress and create change. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.